All right, we're starting. Thank you for joining. For those of us who are watching it in the replay, thank you for taking the time to listen to this webinar. And I hope you'll give me some feedback on how it worked from you, and if there's any suggestions you have, or what kind of takeaways you have from it. So I'm going to start things off. I put together a little presentation, and I'm hoping that you will take some time, if you're rewatching this, to stop the recording and write out your answers to each section, and then you can continue. Or if you prefer, you can listen to the whole thing and then write down your answers after. If you send me your email address, I will send you a little tool that you can use to fill in to make it easier for you, and you can use that same tool over and over again. So welcome. This is my first time doing a webinar on Zoom, so hopefully the technology all works out. I will get the recording started. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. That took a second. Aha, there we go. Finding your clarity. So by the end of today, I will have walked you through a 4-step process of looking where you are right now and take at least the first steps in mapping out an action plan to getting you to where you want to be. The thing about doing goal setting or writing down what you're doing is that if you point to the direction that you want to go in, you're more likely to get there. So I've been learning this a lot. I've been taking a course online, and this tool is one that they walked us through. This is a bit of my little jam to it, so not quite exactly how they put it, similar but not quite, but they invited us to share this information with others so that they may benefit from it. Oh no. There we go. Whoops. Okay, so the course I'm taking is by Tony Robbins, and you may or may not be a Tony Robbins fan. I know I am learning about him and getting to really know more about what he teaches, and just being a bit more aligned with what he says. But one of the quotes he often says is, "Where the focus goes, the energy flows." So if you don't jive with Tony Robbins, perhaps you might be more of a Diana Ross person. And I'm gonna have to look at my notes for her quote. She said, "You can't just sit there and wait for people to give you the golden dream. You've got to get out there and make it happen for yourself." So you attending this and listening in is that very first step in doing that. So now on to the good stuff. So first of all, who am I? So who am I? It's actually a funny question, because when you try to write down, when I went to go put together this slide, I was like, what do I want people to know about me? Some of the people that may be watching this may know me, some may not. So to me, I have a lot of different hats, and my identity and what I do is attached to a lot of different things. So more newly, I'm an entrepreneur, although I have been an entrepreneur in the past. I did run my own ceramics business for 7 years full time, and now I'm just doing it part time. So I'm a potter. I'm also an amateur aerialist. That's how I keep in shape, and it keeps me sane and happy. One of the things I found out through the course, one of the exercises we did was about what is your superpower. So some of these things are the things I've been discovering. I am an action taker. I'm fearless, well, mostly. And the thing about me that I'm most proud of is I'm over 40 and I'm living my sexiest self now. So you may have seen in the previous slide, I have, so 2 slides, I have this, your sexy self now. So if you got this presentation, you may have gotten it because you're part of that group, which I've just started. There we go. So let's get started. So current status. All change starts with honesty. If you're going to map a path to where you're going to go, you have to figure out where you are right now. If you want, it might be easier to start this exercise by looking back. You know, we're in March, we're a quarter way through the year. So you may want to look back between now and January if you made any goals, New Year's resolutions, or you may just want to go back all through 2019 and look at both your wins and be really honest with yourself about your wins, or go back and look and as well look at the things that you weren't happy about. And this might help you get to this point here. So your current status is your truth. Why am I here right now? So obviously there was a reason why you decided to listen to me today and take the time to um, think about where you want to go. Obviously there's something that you're not happy with or that you want to be different. So why am I here right now? What do I feel at this very moment about where I am? What am I unhappy about? What are my pain points? And what is my truth? So I want you to take some time, either now, if you have a piece of paper handy, or you can pause this or do it later, to write those things down. And I have to say, this should probably hurt just a little. If it's not hurting a little, then maybe you need to go back and do that review exercise where you figure out what were your true disappointments in the past year and what were your wins, because you may want to build on both of those. So here's some of my truth. So I've gone through this exercise a couple of times, but when I did it more recently in the last couple of weeks, my truth is that while I'm okay with my current job, I'm not finding it particularly satisfying. It's not something that I think is using the best of my skills. And while it lets me shine in some areas, it doesn't let me shine in other areas. And I'm all about shining. I'm also tired and not feeling in control of my time. If anyone knows me, they may have known that a couple years ago or a year and a half ago, I went through a period of time where I got sick quite a bit. And I think that was because I was just wearing myself down. I was trying to do everything. I was spending so much time at work and not enough time on me. Well, I was spending time on me, but I was trying to be all the things, and it was too much. So I made a decision after a great conversation with a friend of mine. She encouraged me to take back my time for myself, and if I'm going to spend time on things, do it for me. So I don't want to be, if I'm going to be tired like I am today because I worked on this presentation, I want it to be because I decided to do that, not because somebody else did, and because I wanted to advance something that was important to me. So one of my other truths is that I don't feel that I'm making enough money to do what I want to do. And maybe part of that, it's not just the money, but the freedom. So the one thing I really would love to do, and I've been doing more in the last couple of years with my current partner, has been traveling. And I found every experience that I've done with that has been amazing. And I've learned so much. And I just want more of it. And then, like I said, I want to do more with my life. So that's the first step. So write those down and think about what those things are. And what's important about this is, and what you can do is you can repeat this exercise over and over again. And when we get into this a little more into this next section, I'm going to tell you about what I did. So now we know where we are right now and we know how we're feeling. Now let's look ahead to where we want to be in a year from now. It could be a year from now, could even be half a year from now. It could be 10 years from now. And it's always good to have that 10-year mark as well, because people often will look 1 year ahead, but not necessarily further ahead than that. Like, where do you really want to be? So what's the best way to do this? Think about what could happen in a year. So extract yourself from this very moment right now. And it's been the best year of your life. Like, you couldn't have imagined an even better year. So what does your life look like? What does your job look like? What do your relationships look like? What do your finances look like? What have I achieved? What are the things that I've said, yeah, I did that thing that I've always wanted to do? And what are my biggest wins? And what were my proudest moments? And the important thing about this is you can look at things in categories. So it might be helpful to have category that deals with your personal goals, like I want to lose a certain amount of weight, or I want to be at a certain place, I want to improve my relationships. It could be a relationship, and then it could be finance related. So some facts. I thought I have to look at the facts because I'm not going to remember them, so I have some cheat notes here. So many people don't do this at this time of year. It's not the goal setting time of the year, but it's actually pretty perfect because you've already 3 months in, and you may have made those New Year's resolutions, but you may not be where you thought you would be at this point now. So for those who set goals for themselves, it's said that 83% will completely fail and 17% will only achieve a portion of their goal. And that is a slim 3%, 3% that achieve what they set out to do. There's lots of statistics out there. Here's another one. You're 42% more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down. And that's why I'm asking you today to write them down. Writing your goals not only forces you to get really crystal clear on what you want, but it also, and what you want to accomplish, but it also plays a part in motivating you to get to that point. So also another fun fact, according to the research, less than 3% of Americans, sorry, for those in Canada, this was an American statistic, have written down goals, and less than 1% review and rewrite their goals regularly. So what you're writing down today, one of the things that I want you to do is put it somewhere where you can review it, set yourself a reminder in your calendar, whatever you need to do to take a look at that goal so you can see if you're steering that ship in the direction that you want to. Or if you've already achieved those goals, if there's even bigger things that you want to achieve next. So the thing about goals, I'm sure if you're listening to this now, you're probably one that knows a lot about goal setting, and I'm probably not telling you something new. But if it's new, that's awesome. But people always say to make SMART goals. So the image on the right-hand side there's various definitions of what the SMART goals are, but it talks about being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So if you'll see on the left, I've modified that slightly. Someone I know that walked me through this exercise, Una Duncan, when I was on a retreat recently, she replaced the A and the R. So specific, measurable, actionable, risky, and time-bound. So the reason why I think she chose risky as opposed to realistic is that if we put ourselves in a position where we're taking some sort of a risk, and if we're trying to be realistic, we may not get to the place we truly want to be. Sometimes your goals need to be a bit of a stretch. I used to do a thing all the time, and I didn't realize it was the thing to do back then, but I would do a year in review every January. It was this particular time in my life, my relationship was breaking up, and I was trying to figure out what the next thing was. And I would do a bit of a review of what happened, and then I would go in and then I would write down my goals. And I used to make them what I called, like, people call now audacious goals, like things that I thought like I would never achieve. So at the time I was working full time as an artist, doing all the things, teaching, doing shows, exhibitions, selling and making work, everything. And so I would make these crazy, what I thought at the time were like crazy goals, and I would list them. So I do my review in the year, talked mostly more about relationships, how I was feeling about things, what had changed from the previous the previous year. And then I would write down these goals. And sometimes they were like wild. Like I would say something like, I want to have like the one year I hadn't ever exhibited solo. So I was like, I want to have a solo exhibition. And then when I went the next year to look at my goals, I'm like, oh my God, I did that. So I wasn't even reviewing them at the time. I hardly looked at that notebook, and I achieved that goal. So it like buries itself in your subconscious. So that's just what I want to say about making things that are a little bit risky, because if they're too realistic or safe, you may not get to that place you want. So let me see. Yeah, so specific, you want it to be very specific on what it is you want to achieve. You want to have some sort of measure. So I'm going to get to this place by now. You want it to be actionable, like something that you can take action on right away. And we're going to get into that a bit later. Risky, as I mentioned, and time bound. So I want to achieve this by this time. So I thought I would give you a couple of examples of where the things that I've done. So I told you that I've recently done this exercise, this clarity tool, but I'm going to pull out some props because this is like it's the end of March, and this is the third time I've done this activity. So the first time was Una, who I told you about, Una Duncan. If you don't know her, you should definitely look her up. She did a webinar on goal setting in January, and she gave out these great handouts, and she walked us through the process. And so I did it then. And then I went on a retreat. I had already planned to do that, but I went on a retreat. And at that point, it was like the beginning of this month. And I was amazed at, and she said, bring your goals with you and see what's happened since then. And my goals had actually shifted. I had written down a whole bunch of things that were kind of my secondary goals that now are my primary goals. So I had, I'll tell you what my goals were. Hopefully that's not too boring. So my personal goal, we made one for each. I made a personal goal, a relationship goal, and a work goal. So if you're going to make goals, don't make a laundry list of things. 3 to 5 things is probably good enough. You can brainstorm right now all those things, and if it helps you to put in those categories, personal, relationship, and work and finance, then you can do that, and then go back and circle the ones that are the most important to you and focus on those to go into the next step. So my personal goal was fitness and health related. So I got in a car accident in the beginning of October and was injured. I couldn't walk. I had to walk. I had surgery and I had a concussion. And anyways, long story. So my goal, and because I had already signed up for that retreat, which was going to involve fitness, a lot of fitness, my goal was I want to be back to my pre-accident strength or stronger by the end of February so that I can do all the exercises when I'm at the Tulum retreat with no adjustments. So that was my personal goal. My relationship goals is I wanted to actively improve connections in all my relationships, including my partner, my sister, my niece, friends and family, and others, by planning 3 in-person get-togethers every month, beginning in January, with 2 to 3 not being with my partner. So in that way, you can see that what I wanted to do, who it was with, so it was very specific. I wanted to have 3 of them, so it was measurable. It was a bit risky because that's a big commitment. You have to rely on others. And then it was time bound. So I wanted to do that monthly. My personal goal, again, also was time bound. It was actionable. Had to do with my strength, so it was measurable and it was very specific. And then my work goal at the time was I wanted to get a handle on, it was January, I wanted to get a handle on my investments and make decisions and contributions by the end of February in time to qualify to make contributions for my 2019 taxes. So again, very specific, measurable, actionable, a bit risky because it's something I'm a bit scared of and it's something I put aside all the time. And then time bound. So I had to do it by the end of February. All right, so then at the time I had some bonus actions, and one of them was to increase my earnings, some personal development things, but you'll notice that there's nothing in there about creating an online business. I said, people find an awesome job for me. Hello, Sean, welcome. I'm kind of in the middle. Hello. I can't hear you. I hope you can hear me. I'm partway in, but what I've covered so far is, oops, why can't I go in here? I'm just on goal setting part of the seminar, but I'll be posting the recording of this later. So thank you for joining. We're a small but mighty group, but I decided to go ahead because I want to post things. So I'm just going over what my goals were. So then I went on my trip to Tulum, my retreat, and then I ended up with another list of goals. So if I look at those, wow. So I made it to Tulum and I was, oh, someone's messaging chat, sorry. Oh, no worries. Okay. I don't know if you can see, I think my video's on. Anyways, I'm gonna keep going. You might be able to see me or you might not be able to see me. So we're now the beginning of March. It's 2 months then past when I made those original goals, and we went through this exercise again. But my goals were a little bit different. So my goals were, my number one goal that I came out from that event was to launch a new business that can be online and I can work from anywhere in the world. And so since that time, and I wanted that to be done right away. I don't know if I had a specific time thing, but I did circle that as one of my goals. And then more recently, I went through the process when taking the course I'm on now, and again, I want from 1 year from now. So it's slightly different. It's slightly different. If I go back, is that what happened in 1 year? So what I wrote this time is that I want to have the things I want to have achieved at this point. What are my wins? Is I want to have launched my online business and that I'm on leave from work. So I work for the government, and this would we're able to take an unpaid leave of absence. So I want to be able to be comfortable enough to launch my business and work on it full time for a year while not being paid another salary. I would have traveled to 2 different places. I want to hold at least 2 masterminds. And I want to, and financially, I want to make double what I am now. So that's even more than I put back in January. So weird. Anyways, so, okay, so you've got your goals. But if you want them to stick, the thing that you have to ensure is that you know why these are important. You understand your why. Why are these non-negotiable? You have to connect to your why. So here's the things to think about, and I want you to write them down as well. So why are these non-negotiable? Why must you achieve these? Why do you really want them? So for example, why do you want more intimacy in your life? Why do you want to make more money? Why do you want to feel sexy every day? So I added that one in because that's my little thing that I like. If you're having a hard time connecting the why, again, like the exercise we did where you're looking at your truth, you want to really dig deep in on the why, because if there's a really strong reason why you're doing something, you're more likely to keep it. One of the other exercises they did in our course was called 7 layers deep. And basically how that works is that, you start with the one question. So you say, okay, I want to launch my online business. Why? Because I want to be able to work anywhere in the world. Why? Because I was like, I did this one recently. I should have pulled that one out. Because if I'm able to do that, I'm able to travel with my partner who can always work from anywhere in the world. Why? Because I'm afraid that if I'm not able to do that, that he will leave me in his dust. I don't know. Like, these are the things that you can start working through. So here's my whys. So that's a picture of my partner and I. That was us in Tulum, Italy. Not Tulum. That's us in Italy last year. Amazing trip. I want to live in Italy. That's another one of my dreams. So my whys is I want to be in control of my time. And I don't, like I said earlier, I don't want to feel tired as a result of my working for somebody else. I want to be able to spend more time with my partner so we can continue our amazing relationship. I want to have more money and be financially secure now and in the retirement. So here's now mine where I get to the sticky part, is because I want to be successful and I want my parents to be proud of me, and proud of me because I'm doing something that I love. And like, if you have parents like mine, and if you have a good full-time job that has benefits and a retirement plan, then jumping off that ship into an online business is not something that your parents may be supportive of. And so I sort of want to prove it to myself that I can do it. The other thing I want to do, and I'm learning more and more, is I want to be able to help others achieve their goals and dreams. So I feel like in my life, I've done a lot of helping. I ran a successful artist studio tour that I completely volunteered my time. I help friends when they're trying to select photos for a show. I help people with some graphic design using my very limited skills. Like, there's always things I like to do. I have a friend who's starting a business and I've been helping her. And I've realized that I love helping people, like, for the first part to help the people, but it also really feeds me. Like, it's something that makes me feel good. So the other why that I had relating to my staying in shape and getting fit is that I want to stay in shape, and I want to eat well, and I want to keep the body that I have, because I feel pretty good right now and I don't want that to change. And that's it. So you've got your truth, you've got your goals. You know why these goals are important to you. Now, the last part is, what are the capabilities that you need to make those things happen? And what are your first actions? So this is the how and what of what you need to do. So what are your first actions? So what things do you need to get where you're going? Are there things that you need to learn? Are there resources that you need? What specific actions do you need to take? And so what I like to break them down is what are your first actions? What is something, so for each goal that you have written, what is something that you can do in 10 minutes? So we get off this webinar, you stop listening, you've written all your things. What under each of your goals can you do right now to take the first step? What can you do in one week, and what can you do in 1 month? So for example, I will give you, did I give examples? So here's some examples. So within 10 minutes, you can make a call, you can set up an appointment, you can research something, you can text someone. Within a week, you could do something consistently every day. So maybe you're spending 30 minutes a day exercising or moving in some way. You can make a decision on something. You can take a free online course or a paid course if you want, to teach you some skill that you don't have. Like maybe you want to learn, one of the things that I've needed to learn is like how to grow an email list, and how to use Instagram properly, and how to use Canva, which this presentation is made in. That was like a huge learning curve, but it was a good action. And now I have this tool within me. And then what can you do within a month? So I'm starting a new online business. So I have maybe I start a new, register a domain. I set up a new website. I hold my first event. Maybe I invest in something like Zoom. Like I just bought a paid Zoom account today. Like amazing. So I wanted to share my goals. Which one was it I thought I would share? Oh, not here. So when we were in Tulum, one of the ones I wanted to work on was working on my relationship. And the first 10-minute action was to text my partner. And then I can't remember what I said after that. And then in terms of my online business, at that point, I had already like jumped in and signed up for KBB. So then within 1 week, I wanted to finish module 1, and I wanted to do something online. And so before I even left there, in the week of doing that goal setting, I had set up a Facebook group and just jumped in and started. So pretty exciting stuff. And I have to tell you that, while it may seem work to write these things down, I can't stress enough how important it is to do that. So I think that's the main 4 tools. But I have to say, and it's probably more important now more than any time with things going on in the world, you need to have a plan for when life gets in the way. So for many of you, you may be at home, working from home. You may have kids full-time at home. You may be like me, you worked on this presentation last night, so you didn't sleep so well and you're pretty tired today. So you need to have a plan for when life gets in the way. What kind of review can you do? What kind of accountability? And just do something. So for me, I have a weekly calendar appointment I think it's on Tuesdays, because I found Monday, because Mondays is my workout morning, where I say review your goals. So I look at my goals and decide how I'm doing. Am I getting behind? Am I meeting those actions? And then if I need to, I can reset. In terms of accountability, I have an accountability partner. So my friend Lisa has agreed to keep me like pushing forward and supporting me along the way. And she does check in and see how I'm doing. Like, how are you doing on that thing? It was so nice to talk to her today, because she was super happy that I was doing this. And I almost backed out the last minute before I actually posted it online, but I'm really glad that I took the time and did it, because I learned a lot from this process. and then do something. So for example, one of the new habits that I've set up, my cat is making all kinds of noise. One of the new habits I set up while I was away was I wanted to work out. So every morning during the week, I want to get up at 5:45 a.m. And Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I work out, and Tuesdays and Thursdays, I work on my course. So this morning, for example, so last night I was in bed quite late, and so 5:45 was seeming like only a few hours away. So before I went to bed, I decided, what can I do to do something towards that goal? Maybe it's not the big thing, but I'm still doing something. So this morning I got up and I ran a workout, and I only did 2 rounds. And then I got ready from work, and then I was fine. And then I took a nap this afternoon. So that's what I did. So that's all I have for now. So Sean, you're the only one on, so I'm not sure if you have any questions. I want to thank you for listening. There's my email address there. If you are interested in getting the tool, or if you want to join my mailing list, or you have any questions, please email me. If you're in the group, which you are, if you've seen this presentation, you can always send me a message, or if you have questions, but I'd love to hear what you're doing. And that's it for now. I'm going to stop sharing.